recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios, Meanjin, Brisbane.
On 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Zed Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out?
Share your hot take?
Or do you just want to share your favourite game?
Find us on socials at Zed Games AU.
This is Zed Games. I am your host Paul, and joining me tonight are my good friends Zahra.
Hello.
And Caroline.
Hello.
And yes, tonight we will be talking about video games.
Way.
In case you're late to the program, we do that quite regularly. And we'd like to kick off the show with a little bit of news this week brought to us by someone in this very studio, Caroline.
Dun, dun, dun.
Enjoy.
VR adapter coming soon. PC games can be played on the PlayStation VR2 via an adapter which will be available on the 7th of August, meaning that in addition to the VR games available on the PlayStation 5, the VR2 can be used to play the many VR games available on Steam. The adapter will retail for $94.95 Australian. Studio-sanctioned mods incoming. Baldur's Gate 3 is set to become even more moddable in the near future with the announcement of patch number 7. The update is set to launch in September, and the headliner is the official modding toolkit, which will allow for improved compatibility as well as a more convenient modding experience. The toolkit will undergo testing via a two-phase process, the first being a closed alpha, which started on June 3. With a small team of mod creators to further develop the modding tools, and in July the closed beta will kick off with around 1,000 players, which anyone can sign up for, who will test the mods that were created during the alpha. But that's not all for lucky number 7. Larian Studios has also indicated that the patch will also include improved evil endings for all you sickos out there, and some more bug fixes. Screen Queensland funding. As part of Screen Queensland's game project funding, which since its last round has been doubled, 14 projects will receive altogether a total of $1 million Australian dollars, and another 3 projects will receive $1.1 million Australian dollars. The full list of games funded is available on the Screen Queensland's website, but a quick shout out to Schrodinger's Cat Burglar, which I've gotten to play at the last couple of Queensland Game Festivals and is absolutely delightful. Applications for the next round of funding opens on Friday the 7th of June and closes on Sunday the 21st of July. Pokemon Center Online launches for Australia and New Zealand. And now for the most important piece of news of all time, the Australian and New Zealand Pokemon Center website has been soft launched and my money will never be safe again. The Pokemon Centers are online stores that sell exclusive items like plushes and the like. Life-size Mareep plush, my beloved, but ship only to specific regions, America, Canada, the United Kingdom and Japan, with this launch putting Australia and New Zealand on the list. No word yet of when the hard launch of the website will be or what differences there will be, if any, from the soft launch, but I am eager to shovel my money into the gaping maw of the Pokemon Company. And now for some game releases. On June 6th, we have The Smurfs Village Party for PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and PC. On June 11, we have V Rising coming to the PlayStation 5. And on June 13, we have Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, a Dance of Mars DLC for PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. And that's all this week in gaming news.
Thank you for that, Caroline. I don't know where to start. Whether we talk about the pronunciation of the word wrath, or wrath, or whether I ask you for some details on that hot Smurfs game.
I know nothing.
Neither do I.
Because I don't care.
Speaking of
You don't care about a Smurfs game!
No, I don't.
Fair enough. I guess. Yeah, that's probably a fine reaction. The PSVR 2 on PC has been in the VR community a long wanted thing. But yeah, half the features are just not supported. Half the cool features. So it's like, okay. So they'll either still be up to modders to fix up, or maybe Sony will open up a few things. There's just some odd things like there's haptics on the headset, but that's licensed from someone, so they maybe can't technically let someone else use it. It's like so weird.
Okay.
Anyway, it's still a good resolution headset.
The vibration function still works, from what I read.
Yeah, but that's the controllers.
Yep, but that's all you need.
Not the vibrator in the head. Look, we're not playing Res Infinite here. God, I had other things to talk about. Do we sidetrack into? Do you know the history of the trance vibrator?
I don't think we can segue into that. We're the wrong audience, Paul. We're too young.
You know the game Res?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when that originally launched, it launched with a small paddle that you also plugged into your Dreamcast or PlayStation. I know it was at least PlayStation. And it vibrated in a very fun way with the music. It's sort of a small wedged paddle. Can't imagine what you could do with it.
Oh no.
Then, when it released on the 360 on Xbox Live Arcade, they made it so that you can hook up 7 controllers at once to an Xbox 360. So the vibrator on each controller would vibrate to a separate pattern. So people got very creative of attaching that. Then when Res Infinite was launching, and unfortunately this never became commercially viable at a consumer level, they built a suit. An entire vibrating suit to experience Res Infinite in VR.
A suit.
Yeah.
Oh. Did the whole suit vibrate, or just parts of the suit?
I mean, technically parts of the suit, but the whole point was lots of actuators all over it, giving you all sorts of sensations. It's a trippy experience. There's Res Games, and for a very specific audience.
Yeah.
Anyway, other things to talk about.
Yeah.
Pokemon Center, I still desperately want a life-size Mareep. And I know that it's not coming back. It's probably never going to come back.
No. But if it ever does...
A life-size what?
Mareep. It's a sheep Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
Most of the
and it's about
line.
It's about arm span, my arm span wide, so say about a meter in diameter. It's quite a large.
Your arm span's a meter?
Well, at this distance.
Okay.
My actual arm span is vast and infinite.
If you bundle up a few small children, it would make one Mareep.
Yes.
Oh, I can see it now.
But no Mareep. But there's other stuff. We saw these.
If you
Pikachu
want large
salt and pepper
inflatable
shakers.
sheep, I know several places you can purchase those.
No, thank you. But what about that Pikachu butter dish?
Oh, horrifying!
Who doesn't want to scoop their pasty dairy curds out of a well, what's the position? Let's call it a downward dog style Pikachu.
Yeah.
In other
like
news,
that with the most vacant eyes.
Yeah, not E3 / Summer Games Fest / whatever you want to call it is, depending on how you want to say has started. There was a Sony event last Friday.
Yep.
They showed off a bunch of stuff. They started with Concord, which is one of their big new licenses. Big cinematic intro. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy, all these characters, all this story. And then they said, okay, now that we've spent 5 minutes on this cinematic, we're going to tell you about this 5v5 PvP Overwatch.
Oh, yeah.
And then everyone just, the only game we cared about and what was shown off is the new Astro Bot game, which looks amazing. And might be the first PS5 game I buy in a long time. But this Saturday, the big festival sort of starts kicking off. 7 a.m. Australian time, Summer Games Fest starts, followed by Devolver Digital, and then this Wholesome Direct, and
it's pretty much
the devs.
3 days of...
it's a few weeks. But, it stretches out. Once you start getting your Ubisofts forwards, you've got your Xbox event, you got blah, blah, blah. Even as Mongold had a show the other day. I didn't include it because he did it twice before and it was awful both times. There are so many showcases, but just pay attention to general news. I'm sure you'll absorb something.
I hope so.
Speaking of other news, and unfortunately sad news, composer Jeff Follen unfortunately passed away this week from pancreatic cancer. He and his brother Tim did a lot of classic video game soundtracks and were kind of wizards back in the day, making machines do things that we did not necessarily think they could do. This is Zed Games! I'm Paul, that's Caroline. Here we have Zahra.
Hello.
Who will now be performing some kind of video game review.
Exactly, yes.
She can't hear the music, so I just gotta do it for her.
Okay.
When I retire, I'm not going to farm. At least not in a video game.
Alrighty. Hello, students.
Hi.
I'm talking directly to you now. I know.
Scary.
It's a rough time of the semester for a lot of us. No matter what you're studying, you might be a little over it, finding it hard to motivate yourself to do the work. You might be doing an arts degree, working on that 2,000-word report on how John William Waterhouse influenced your weird sculpture. Or perhaps a data analysis case study that has you running regressions on road usage. Or a report about torts and contract law so full of jargon you think you don't know how to speak like a normal, non-lawyer person. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure you have a report to write or some textbook you need to study or lectures to review or blah blah blah, but you just much rather be playing a farming sim. It's okay. I also would rather play a farming sim, and I've tried to balance it too. I have 2 monitors after all, game on one screen, work on the other, but it never really works the way I want it to. The gameplay loop is just too tempting. It's so easy to just go, oh, one more day, and then be stuck playing an entire year in-game. But no more. That ends now. My friends, you can have it all. You can be reasonably productive and still play a farming sim at the same time.
What?
Let me introduce you to a game called Rusty's Retirement, a rather engaging idler developed by Mr. Morris Games. A beautifully detailed pixel game. This game plays in a banner that overlays your screen, tucked away at the bottom or the side of the screen. And I do feel like it has hit that balance between giving you plenty to do and customize, while also allowing you to take your hands off of the game at any time without interrupting the game. You start out by selecting the environment for your farm and whether you'd like a horizontal or vertical farm. My preference is horizontal. And then you're in the game, meeting Rusty for the first time. You have a patch of tilled soil, Rusty's home of course, a biofuel generator and a well. With a pocket full of seeds, it's time to start planting. You plant the seeds and Rusty automatically waters and eventually harvests the crops.
And Rusty's like Barney the dinosaur, isn't he?
Kinda. I'm not too sure what Rusty is. He's like a robot.
Yeah,
dog
he's
creature?
Barney the dinosaur by Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah. But in a really
Without that
cute-
tone.
Yeah. Harvesting crops will work towards unlocking other types of crops, more valuable each time. You may want some assistance so you can build stations for water bots, harvest bots, and other types of bots to automate some of the tasks, allowing Rusty to focus on establishing and growing his farm. You earn more gold and produce more biofuel, allowing you to buy plots to expand your farm. You can build homes to bring some of Rusty's friends to the farm, such as Haiku, who can help build structures and water and harvest crops, or Splunk, who can plant seeds. Don't underestimate Splunk.
Well, okay.
I never would.
All right. I didn't think I would.
You'll also unlock beekeeping, growing berries, keeping livestock who produce manure, decorative items, and a fair few other bits and bobs, all of which allows you to put as much time, detail, and effort into your farm as you want. You can make your farm extremely functional, maximizing the bots and usable space. You could also build these winding paths and plant flowers, building benches and scenic spots so Rusty can take a breather and enjoy his work. You don't really control the characters or the bots. You place what you want to place, schedule upgrades for the bots, do a bit of decorating, and then you leave the game to it. While you do what you're supposed to do, writing your report, the game will complete those tasks bit by bit. You can queue up dozens of tasks. You're really only limited by space and how much gold and biofuel you have saved up. And you can adjust the priority list for Rusty and Haiku. So if you want them to focus more on watering and harvesting crops at the start, or maybe you need more focus on building or biofuel generation, it's as easy as a few little clicks. It's pretty simple, and it works well. I personally have found it really helpful in motivating me to at least boot up my computer. Due to the nature of the game and resource generation, I may generate 5 to 15 minutes of active gameplay for each hour, depending on the farm. It means that there's only so much of the game I can play before there isn't really anything for me to do, at least for a little while. So I guess I'll do my work. There's a few settings I think are fabulous. For example, you can toggle whether your farm sits at the top at all times. Helpful if you need it to be somewhat out of sight if the movement is too distracting. Perfect if you do need a bit of visual stimulation to keep you focused. Another is the ability to adjust the position of the banner that is your farm. So you could have it sitting over the toolbar, or maybe right above it. I was writing this review while my little bots float around on the bottom of the screen, And with a click of my mouse, I can manage my farm easily and quickly, without clicking away from what I'm actually working on. I've just written 2 paragraphs, and I noticed that a couple of my beehives were ready to harvest. 2 clicks, and I'm back to writing this review. I'm a control freak, so being able to monitor my farm easily without getting pulled away from my work has helped me stay more focused on my work. And if I need a mental break or my lecture is getting a little monotonous, I have a farming sim right there. I don't even have to look away from the monitor. But look, I'm only one person. So I'm handing the mic over to Tobi, because if anyone knows these types of games, he's the guy.
Wait, what do you mean I know these kind of games? It's not like many of the games I reviewed for Zed Games could possibly have been idlers or automation-styled games in pixelated indie styles or something. Wait, you might have a small point, I'll give you that. Firstly, I differ from Zahra on a few pivotal points. Personally, I ended up playing almost exclusively vertically. This lived on my second monitor, in the second smallest size. You can change the width or height with the up and down directional keys. And while for most this could be a wonderful background game, and is made as such, it's got great background music done by the composer Lars Asger Norby that you will be listening to in the background of this, and even a focus mode which slows down production even further. My ADHD brain couldn't keep my eyes off it. The achievements are relatively simple and achievable, and the unlocking of new crops and berries really kicked off the dopamine mining. So I have to add this to my relatively short list of games I've 100%ed. Can I still recommend this to my neurospicy and non-sparkly friends? Absolutely. Those who can feel the warm glow of satisfaction at a solarpunk aesthetically pleasing farm grow in front of their eyes will get so much out of arranging, creating, and the ant farm or fish tank-styled relaxation in Rusty's retirement. And those, like me, who zone into the farming, waiting for the green box to appear highlighting a new crop, farm, or area unlock, will get so much dopamine as their brains go brrr, number go up. Plus, you can leave the computer on all night and open it up in the morning for a huge hit of unlocks and achievements when you wake up. But like Zahra said, unlock all your friends and build their houses before you do that. It really is worth it. Also, it should be noted that most of the characters, including Rusty themselves, are from Mr. Morris's game's previous game, Haiku the Robot. Haiku is in the same art style but is a Metroidvania-style game about discovering the secrets of the world you're in. And Haiku is one of the first companions you can get in Rusty's retirement. Speaking of links, don't forget to look for Easter eggs. There's a few in the achievements, but some are hidden on a few maps. Keep an eye out in the corner of the maps, that's all I'm saying. You'll have to work the rest out for yourself. Rusty's Retirement is on Steam for $10.49 with a supported pack DLC for $5.99 where you can deck Rusty in gold plating. I'm sitting at just shy of 200 hours watching my farm bots maintain the dry arid zone of the Oasis map. So yeah, throw some change at this one folks and join us in dreaming of a peaceful farming solarpunk future together.
Oh, you put a thing in here. No, you stop that. You stop that, Toby. That's my button to push. You thought you could end the review without me heckling you with your game about a dinosaur that ravages the land to make biofuel and is a slumlord for his workers that he keeps in there? No, we're not spending, what do we spend, like 47 minutes then talking about a farming idle game? You don't get out of here with playing that music, Toby. That's my button. That's the end of Rusty and his terrible...
Damn, did you just shoot Rusty?
You shot Rusty.
Wow.
I told you, he's a slumlord.
Oh.
He has all his workers living on the farm. He owns their accommodation. You know, we've all seen this happen before. Next is going to be a horror movie. Anyway, this is Zed Games. I'm Paul. Joining me is Zahra and Caroline. Are you hellblading me?
I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing.
I like it. What's that? But now we're going to kick into what I call a review.
Oh.
This game is old!
How old?
About 10 years.
Dang it.
That's you again!
You again?
I did a couple of days ago.
Wow.
Woo!
Re-release?
Oh, we'll get into it. Okay, I am here to tell you all about the Consortium. Now, it's a quick show of hands, and of course, you can all see this on the radio. How many people in this studio have heard of the game Consortium?
I've heard of it, never touched it.
Oh,
Don't think I've heard
fantastic.
of it.
So, back in 2014, a game called Consortium came out, and it was calling it a little cult hit would probably be a little overstating because I don't think the hit part was attached to it. It's an extremely unique game. It is a game where you are in a crew on a ship, and that ship, although it's the future, is just a big jumbo jet, like 3-story jumbo jet. And you are flying to a destination to do a mission. And a lot of people thought when you got to the end of the flight to the mission, you'd then do the mission. Nope, that was the end of the game. The game ended with you arriving at your mission and jumping out the back of the plane, and then it ended. Then 3 years later, the sequel came out, The Tower.
Oh, okay.
Which is still in early access.
Oh, no.
You might think this means the game is abandoned. No, the game's been remastered, and from that is also being remastered in VR.
What?
So we are going to go through a little bit of a history of this, because I played the game when it originally came out, but that was 10 years ago, so I needed a refresher. You also cannot buy the original game anymore. It is delisted. So...
tragic.
There's a lot of weird things about this game that make it really unique and worth looking at if you're in any way interested in alternative narrative games. So, I had forgot the base premise of this game is not that you are a character on board this ship, it is that you are you. And we have discovered a technology that allows us to project our consciousness into the near future, I think it's about 2046 or something, and inhabit someone else's body. A bishop on this plane. All the characters in the game are like chess themed. Yeah. And this isn't just like a pretense to get you into this world. You can just straight up in the game, they say, oh, hello, how are you? And you say, I don't know, who am I? They're confused. And you say, I'm playing a video game. And you can convince them of that. You can just straight up play it. It's not even breaking the fourth world. There is no fourth world. It's just in-world fiction that you can be a person sitting now in our timeline playing a video game, and these are people in the future. The game itself is a first-person game. You could say it's close to an immersive shooter, like your Deus Exes and such, except you can get through the entire game without firing a single bullet or having any combat encounter at all, really. In fact, the most combat you would do in the game is if you decide to go into the VR simulator and just sort of play around with the systems. There's no real need to ever do it. You will talk to everyone on the ship, and there is a murder mystery. So that's what the game is about. Meeting everyone, learning them. They'll move around the ships doing their own routines. And as I say, this game just lasts until you get to the mission. So it takes most people sort of around 10-ish hours for a playthrough. Also, as you may have guessed from the nature of this, it's not a game you're supposed to play once. That's also in universe. When you start a game, you start a new universe, and you go off, and it's new tangent, it's new multiverse style thing. Also, when you go to save, you don't have to save. You can say, split universe here, which means it makes a new save and continues your save going, so you can make a different decision. Should I betray this person? Should I help them? All those sorts of decisions. It's made to have these big... It's one of the things I like. I hate huge open world games. I think it's pointless. I like small spaces that are very deep. And this gives you a lot of opportunity to play around with it. So the original game worked well, had its fans, didn't set the world on fire. So they made the tower, that didn't quite get finished. But they're still working on it, but they stepped back to remaster and bring up in Unreal Engine up to standards the original game, which is not a graphical masterpiece or anything, but it's a nice, clean, colourful game with relatively good performances for something that's quite low budget. So, comes up, performance is better, looks a little bit better. Then they said, here's the VR version. I'm like, okay, that seems to make sense. You're not doing a lot of running around in this game. It's mostly talking. Let's see how that goes. Put it on. Very immersive. Get in there. And I immediately found myself using an additional option that came in with the remaster, which I never thought I would do in a video game, which is it has all your dialogue choices there, and you can just speak them.
Oh.
Now, it actually kind of made me excited for I'm sorry to say, AI future in games where it might be able to be a bit more responsive to what you say.
Yeah.
But so you've just got your normal list. I could point it and click, but one of the things I often say about VR, one of the more like immersive things, is that you play act in it.
Yeah.
And so just being able to say, oh, actually, I don't feel so well. And I can put my own tone in it. I found myself just putting in extra lines just like behind someone's back or something. It's like, excuse me. And excuse me was there. The cough wasn't, but the game didn't care. It was like, get in there and play around. I never wanted to do anything else. There's a little gap after you say it. It's not perfect. But it both felt really nice. It was very immersive, and it made me really excited for a future of that kind of interaction in games.
That would be so much fun.
It is really cool. It's as I say, the ship is a small space. It's well signposted. There's icons everywhere showing you like which parts of the ship are what. There's a slew of characters there. There's other people that come in. You're just talking to them all, working out everyone's motivations, how they're dealing with it, who's done what, murder mystery. It's really cool. It is not, I say, you're not going to be a big shooting game. It's a small game. As I say, it still takes about 10 hours. It's not like it's nothing going on. But it's an extremely unique game. And whilst I can touch on other games that have done some similar parts, nothing quite like it. And such a weird tone as well. Near future, an AI has like solved all of Earth's problems. Like, we don't have problems with like poverty or food or anything anymore.
No, we fixed it with the algorithm.
Yeah, but now... it's weird.
ChatGPT fixed everything.
You're against the homeless bandits or something. Just like what? It's got strange commentary, a strange setup, and really unique systems. And I really recommend having a look at it. It isn't going to be for everyone, but and even just in VR, the fact that it's based on conversations. Everyone's making eye contact with you all the time. It feels really natural. I did way less shoving them than I normally would because they're not just playing through a thing. I still tried to shove them because it's my dream is the VR game that says, "Hey, stop shoving me," and then if I continue, they lock me in the brig. And I feel that might be a Consortium remastered away. But one day,
it's going to be another 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, one day I'll get to shove everyone I want, and that takes me to the end of my review. It's available on PC. I mean, this is the only platform that this kind of game can exist. So goodbye.
Bye.
The Consortium. It's the video game, just one.
And you can actually shove people in real life if you're brave enough.
You can shove people in real life. I wouldn't call it
very frowned upon, and people don't like
but
it.
But it's very immersive.
It's not a hobby, but it is.
It could be a hobby.
Yeah,
I wouldn't recommend it as a hobby.
For legal reasons. I also cannot recommend it as a hobby.
Takes all sorts. Just a correction on my review just before about the wonderful game Consortium. I said, of course, it's just on PC. What other platform would do this? The answer, of course, is the Quest, because I played it on MetaQuest. I mean, I did play it on PC too, but yeah, it is on another platform. So, good job, Paul.
It's all right. I didn't even clock that either. And you literally told us you played it in VR.
Yeah. This is Zed Games. I'm your host, Paul, and joining me are Zahra and Caroline. And before we run up today, we're going to slip in another...
It's a
review. It's short, so I'm just going to cut the music off there. It's a short review. Okay, this is for a game I played some music from earlier tonight. Flathead. Flathead is we'll call it a micro game. It's about $3 on Steam. It's also sort of a tie-in to a bigger game that's coming out, which it's called Silk. It's Silk Song. Silk Song. It's definitely Silk Song.
Silk Song?
No, it's not Silk Song. Silk Bulb. Silk Bulb Test is available at the moment, and it's sort of a co-op horror game. So this game is sort of to set a mood, and a mood it does set. It's basically just a game of the game over and under. You find yourself in a terrifying, let's make it Saw adjacent room, where you set to push a button. It'll give you a number from 1 to 20, and you can pick, is the next number going to be over or under? That's the game. That's literally pretty much all of it. You get a few tools. The main tool you get is an ability to improve your luck. And that is when you're asked to pick, you can see the numbers remaining. Push that button and it'll start eliminating other possibilities. So if you are smack damn, if you're at 10, you can push that button and it'll go tick, 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 eliminating other numbers until you know if it'll be above or lower. And then you know. The downside of this is that while that's running, it really speeds up the walking speed of the monster coming up behind you.
Oh no.
You need to get to a certain score level to get out alive. There's a few rounds per game. And then you go back to your holding cell where at the end of each round, if you've won, you get another tape of information to sort of fill you in on the universe. That is literally the whole game. If you play on easy, which I first tested it on, it makes the scores too low that I didn't actually know there was a monster in the game. So if you want to have a little bit of tension, turn it up at least to normal.
Okay.
But the atmosphere is excellent. It's this creepy body horror, a little bit of like clockwork stuff put in there, very grungy, a very rustified Saw aesthetic to it. It's just effective. It feels nice. It took, I think, with some deliberate failures as well, 17 rounds for me, with each round going between 5 to 10 minutes for me to get to the end of the game. And the end of the game, you know what, when it happened, I was like, oh, actually, that's kind of a horror staple, except I didn't expect it, and it was fun. I was like, oh, that's a nice end. I don't know if it's fully worth playing that long, but if you like a horror aesthetic and then having a look at it, looking at the main project that it's leading into, you know, you could just have a good time with it. Yeah, that is Silk Bulb Flathead by Tim Oxton. And it's funny, every time you like get to the end of a round, which I say is still only like 5 to 10 minutes, it just goes, Flathead by Tim Oxton! It gives you your stats afterwards. Yeah, little game, good fun, excellent atmosphere. Which brings us to the end of my very short review. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay.
It's really scary looking.
Yeah, the guy in there looks goopy and
Goopy?
yeah.
Yeah. If he gets you, you get a chance. You get a chance for him to not get you, and it's a bit gooey. But yeah, it's weird because it's obviously built on another game because inside there's like some other controls that you don't actually need in the game. I'm like, okay. But anyway, yeah, good time. How's the evening been?
Evening's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
we've had 3 reviews. We've had like kind of a bit of a variety. I'm pretty happy with.
Is anyone going to get up with me on the weekend and watch conferences and rant the whole time?
No, I'm going to be passed out.
I'm going to put it on the TV, so it plays in the background while I do other things, like a sport.
I need a way of getting rid of my children. Hey, public, if anyone has a way of getting rid of children. Don't get rid of them. Mine are lovely. They're good.
They're so
good.
cute.
Sometimes. Yeah. So excited for that. Summer Games Fest, 7 a.m. Saturday, and then Devolver Digital. And I'm supposed to go to a friend's retirement party. I'm like, well, maybe do I love them more than Devolver Digital?
I don't think you literally have a Volvi shirt.
I do have a Volvi shirt.
So
and if they don't announce a Volvi remaster.
Are you gonna riot?
I'll join you in the riot.
Yeah, that's right. We'll unretire my friend. Which brings us to the end of today's episode. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, you can find us on the Community Radio Plus app.
Or find us on socials at Zed Games AU.
See you next time.